Zack and Wiki, or to use his full title, Zack and Wiki in the Quest for Barbarossa's Treasure, is a Wii game by Capcom that reminds me highly of an old-fashioned point-and-click puzzle game. You play as the duo Zack and Wiki. Zack is a young pirate who thrives to be the most famous pirate in the whole world. He joined an organisation of pirating rabbits and went off to the world in adventure. On his travels he found Wiki, a golden monkey that flies with his propeller tail. If that isn't weird enough, he can also turn into a magical golden bell at will. I'm also not sure if Wiki is meant to be a he or a she. He sounds like a female in game, but so do most Japanese characters in these cutesy kind of games. He just seems like he should be a guy to me, so I'm gonna call him one. The two quickly become best friends and decide to adventure together, like you always do when you find a monkey in a chest. You start the game as they're going off on a new adventure, but they're not very interested. By chance, you happen to find treasure, a talking golden skull that calls himself Barbaros, the legendary pirate king. It's about now, when looking at my script, when I realise everything in this game is about gold. There's a golden monkey, a golden skull, and there's even a whole world made of gold. I know I understand it's a pirate game, but really, there's just so much gold in the game, it's crazy. There's no gems or silver, it's all gold. Surely the gold isn't that interesting anymore when you have only gold. Their quest then is to travel the world collecting the parts of Barbarossa's body, which had been all turned into different kinds of treasures and guarded by vicious puzzles. All the characters in the game are filled with emotion and have their own personalities. In fact, I think Zack is one of the weakest characters in the game, but perhaps that's so you can connect with him more as a main character as a blank slate. Innocently, at the start of the game, you're told that he likes golden chocolate, and that's about it. He's interesting to watch with the cartoony style of emotion in action, but he doesn't really become an interesting character, which I quite like in the game. Wiki is a great character. He's someone like the snarky sidekick in a buddy cop film. At one point when you're falling out from a plane, he reminds Zack that he can fly and therefore won't die from the fall, all the while laughing at this. Most of the other characters are bit parts, aside from the nemesis, Captain Rose. She's basically a posh girl that wants treasure but doesn't care much about morals. Unlike the other two though, she clearly changes throughout the story, which is always what I like to see. The game is split into worlds and levels, each level having a treasure, which is a normal part of Barbarossa's body or a new map or some special story element. Each level has its own feel, and each world has its own environment. The levels always have a great theme, and everything looks nice. The puzzles are interesting and most importantly varied. You rarely have to continue the same things, and if you do, there's usually quite a gap. There's everything from a level using paintings as portals to one where you need to fish a giant shark out of water. It's probably obvious now because it's a Wii game that you have to use the Wiimote to interact with the environment, directing Zack and Wiki around. Unlike old point-and-click games, you're taken aside to act out some of the actions you use to complete puzzles, such as sawing down trees or digging up snow or turning a crank. A lot of the time the game has time puzzles or duels, mixing things up a little. There's even a scene where you puzzle an old ancient battle robot. You don't usually see these kind of things, and I quite like it. Another gimmick is Wiki himself. As he can turn into a bell, there's obviously some magic going on, and the sound of his ringing bell turns animals into tools. It sounds strange, but it adds a kind of magical adventure aspect to the game, and makes you wonder what every animal will become when you see them before you can actually interact with them. Zack and Wiki is a fun game, but honestly I don't expect much else from Capcom. They reference other games by themselves a lot, and even sometimes reference the Wii itself. There's a part where you find a flute shaped like a Wiimote, and you use the buttons to play the music. There are extra mini-games where you use Wiki to play out music from other Capcom games like Ghouls and Ghosts. It's just that I really badly suck at rhythm games, and I never got past the beginning difficulty city on Guitar Hero. Occasionally you find old 8-bit runes from old Capcom games and their old characters, which just brings a little bit of nostalgia into it, and it's nice that they added these extras. It's just a shame that the game wasn't that popular when it was released, so they had a planned sequel and it was never made, which is a bit of a shame. The game's really fun, and the story actually becomes quite epic, despite what you might think to start with. Zack and Wiki, the quest for Barbarossa's treasure, truly feels like just that, a quest. And you got to give it respect for that.